Hello, and welcome to Mon Life Learning's film, World War II Beneath Your Feet, the surprising wartime story of Monmouth's Shire Hall. This impressive-looking building is the Shire Hall in Monmouth. It was once a courthouse where people who were accused of committing crimes were put on trial. But in World War II, this building had another rather surprising and different use. Imagine you are walking along the streets of Monmouth during World War II and you hear this noise. What would you do? How would you feel? Where would you go? Well, some people may have come here. Let's go in and find out why. Can you guess what we're going to find as we go deep beneath the building and the streets of Monmouth? I'll give you a clue. It's something to keep you safe during an air raid. Did you guess correctly? Yes, Shire Hall has its very own air raid shelter. It's a bit smelly and it feels a bit damp, and I'm not sure you'd want to spend a long time down here. In wartime, there wouldn't have been all these pipes or this electric lighting. Any light would probably have come from a hurricane lamp like this one. It wasn't built to be an air raid shelter. It was originally part of the court cells where prisoners would be held before going to their trials. People often used the basements of buildings for shelters, even basements in their own homes, because they offered good protection against enemy bombs. Of course, during the war there was always a chance that the building could be bombed and you could be trapped underground, but the Shire Hall had another way out just in case. Look around carefully and see if you can spot it. That's right, it was here, but over time it's been bricked up. Another reason this space may have been chosen to be a shelter is because it has an arched ceiling. An arch is an incredibly strong shape. If a bomb had fallen on the Shire Hall and the building above had collapsed, the arch would have been able to bear the weight of the rubble above much better than a flat roof could have done. Unlike the port cities and industrial towns of Newport, Cardiff or Swansea, Monmouth and Monmouthshire were not heavily bombed during World War II. In fact, Monmouthshire was considered a safe area and received lots of evacuees. These photos show a group of schoolgirls from Kent arriving at the Hendra, a large country house just outside Monmouth. It looks quite exciting, doesn't it? How do you think you would feel about being evacuated with your school friends and your teacher? But even though Monmouth was considered a safe area during the war, the air raid siren was still a familiar sound, and people had to find shelter in case there was a raid. This document was written by an air raid warden in Wyshan, a part of Monmouth. He noted down what time the warning siren sounded, how long the raid lasted, and at what time the all clear was sounded. As you can see, some raids lasted up to 3.5 hours. As people got used to the raids, they began to prepare for them, gathering together everything they might need. In this basket, we have a range of items people would have taken into the air raid shelter with them. Here we have a food rationing book, a clothing ration book, and an identity card. These were essential documents in wartime. Without the ration books, you wouldn't have been able to buy food or clothing. The identity card proved who you were and where you lived, and it was a very important document. Next, we have a toy Spitfire and Hurricane. Some people had to spend many hours down in the shelter, so having something to play with and pass the time was important. Next, we have a flask and a sandwich tin. People often took a hot drink down into the shelter with them, usually tea, and bread and butter, or sandwiches with fillings such as jam or spam. This strange looking item is a hot water bottle. You filled it with hot water here, put the stopper in, and carried it by the handle here. It got the nickname Stone Pig because people thought that this end looked like a pig. This is a gas mask. You could be fined if you didn't carry your gas mask with you at all times. Although children often had to practice putting on their gas masks at school, they weren't really used, as there was never a gas attack in Britain during the war. Our final items are these. Can you guess what they were used for? It's not for providing light. We have the hurricane lantern for that. It's not for providing warmth. We have the stone pig to keep us warm. It's actually a little cooker. If you place one pot the right way around like this, place the candle inside and light it, and the other pot on top, like a lid. The whole thing gets hot enough to fry an egg. Ingenious. Can you hear that sound? That's the all clear. That sound means it's now safe to come out of the shelter, so it's time for me to say goodbye and thank you for watching.